We're going to go straight to module 2 now and have our special guest of this event speak to us on money, mentoring, and talents, and how he walked into financial freedom and how he's still maintaining financial freedom. Teju is professional. His full names are Teju Oyelakin. But professionally, he's known as Teju Babyface Oyelakin. He is the founder and lead mentor at the Mentorship Foundation Africa. And this is an academy that was formerly known as the Teju Babyface Mentorship Academy. He runs a company called Visos Project, and he is a United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Ambassador for Nigeria with a focus on decent work and economic growth. Teju Babyface is also a Nigerian actor, he's a stand-up comedian, he's a talk show host, he's a producer, and is a writer. He introduced a new genre of talk to the Nigerian TV space with the Teju Babyface show in the year 2010. So he will tell us later, he started pretty early too, just like Dr. Okoha. He is also known by many in Nigeria as the king of talk. He's the author of the book, Secrets of the Streets, 23 Secrets for Making Money with Your Talent that you will never learn in school. We will be giving out some of those books to those who stay with us to the end and who are very active in the 4 days. He didn't ask me to pull this, but because he's my relative, I do know that Teju was born into a wealthy home where his dad is late. His late dad was a serial entrepreneur and a business magnate. Now, this did not stop Teju from building his own wealth. I put this deliberately here, not because I want any form of intimidation with his background or whatever, but I just want us to know that even people who are born into wealth can decide and can work hard to attain their own financial freedom. As a special guest in this year's workshop, Teju will share his financial fitness story and how he walked into and continues to maintain his financial freedom. Teju, I'm very grateful. I thank you for sparing time. And I know your schedule, you're a family man, and I'm very grateful that you have lent your what will I use now? Your reputation to this event. And I'm hoping that out of the 167 people around the call, that they would look back to today, the 24th of August, and say, I learned this because I listened to Teju in the year 2022. Thank you very much, Teju, for joining us. The floor is yours.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very kindly. Can you hear me? Because I can't see myself. I can see.
But can you be louder? I'm going to spotlight now.
Can I be louder? Let me see. Maybe if I move my keyboard out of the way.
Here, though.
I think you are loud enough. Just go ahead.
Okay, am I loud enough? Mr. Adeni, I think, says I'm loud enough.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Niyi. Thank you. Probably from here. Thank you.
Okay, it's also that I can't see myself. I can see a poster of myself on the screen, but I can't see myself, so I don't know whether you can see my face.
Stop sharing. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, great.
I'm going to spotlight you soon.
Okay, I think I can see myself now.
Yeah.
Okay, should I go ahead?
Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's morning where I am in my part of the world. I suppose it's good evening in Lagos, where it's supposed to be the hub of this thing. So good evening, everybody. And first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I see about over 160 participants of this at the moment, and that is beyond impressive. Frankly, I didn't think there'd be as many people watching this. I didn't think that people were so interested in things of this nature. I've been told that we're living in a generation and a day where people are giving more to entertainment than information and education. So at these numbers, it is very impressive. So I must congratulate you for being here. And again, I thank the organizers, my Auntie Bimbo, So that's what I call her, my auntie Bimbo. As she said, we're relatives. She's my auntie. And initially, in the first part of my life, I wanted to be her husband. I wanted to be in the Navy. And once I met Uncle Kehinde, everything I did for a couple of years was to be in the Navy or in the Air Force. Of course, that soon ended when I went to boarding house in Ogbomoso. My seniors beat all those dreams out of me, and somewhere in the translation, I lost all those dreams. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here. I must warn you ahead of hand. I must warn you beforehand, ahead of the events happening, that I'm a father of 2 4-year-old twins who at any point in time can rush into this room and disrupt this conference. Be ready for that when that happens. I'm going to have to stand up and beg them and negotiate with them so that they can leave. So just get ready for that when that happens, okay? Cool. All right, so we're talking about financial freedom. I'm going to take a slightly different approach. Before we talk about the money, we have to talk about you and what you're going to do to get the money, because the money is just the end of it. What you're going to do to get the money is very important, because you see, you can lose money, you can be displaced. And if you're in Nigeria at this time and you're living in Nigeria, that must concern you, because sadly, your permanence, or the permanence of what you do residing in Nigeria at this moment, is not a given. And I don't mean to scare you. I don't mean it in terms of the fact that you're going to be displaced or that you're going to become a refugee. I'm just saying that we're living in nebulous times. And so at the back of your mind must be that if for any reason, given the situation of things right now, if I couldn't do what I'm doing right now where I am doing it, how am I able to make sure that I can keep generating money for myself? I will say that again. I'll try to say it another way. I do not mean to scare you, and I do not mean to suggest in any way that Nigeria will not be there next year or the year after that, or even in 2 decades. After all, for as far as I can remember, it has always been this tale of Nigeria will be better. As a matter of fact, I can sing a couple of songs for you. I was in primary 1 in 1985 when Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey sang, Nigeria yishi madun oda mi loju, Lola Oluwa, adun, adun, adun. Translation, Nigeria will still be a better place. I am convinced, by God's grace, it will be a better place. That was 1985. From time immemorial, you know, it has always been that Nigeria has not been a good place. Nigeria has never been a good place. Nigeria will always be better. That's always been the story. It is unfortunate that Nigeria has never had a better tomorrow or a better today. It's always been a case of better yesterdays. All right, so I don't mean to suggest that Nigeria will not be there or will not exist anymore. Nigeria, despite all the odds, keeps on existing. Having said all of that, however, we must realize that things seem to be in more of a dire strait right now than they have ever been. As at today, the Naira is exchanging to the dollar anything from 650 to 720 Naira, okay, at least black market rate. The central bank has a different rate, but who can access those rates? Therefore, the point that I'm making essentially is that you need to come to the mindset that we call global thinking. Global thinking, okay? You must come to the mindset, or you must live in the mindset, or you must exist in the mindset that we call global thinking, or global service, or global positioning. Again, it was the question that I asked you. Before you make the money, we must answer the question, what are you going to do to make the money? And the first thing about that is that it must be that you must be able to make this money anywhere. That's essentially what I'm talking about. Whether you're in Nigeria or whether you move, you must essentially be able to make the money anywhere. Look, I'm speaking to you right now from the United States of America. I am in Dallas at the moment. I have been for the past 3 years. And if you're a follower of Teju Babyface on any of the platforms, you will notice that for about 2 years, my show has been off television. Okay, but here I am speaking to you. So in the first place, I'm in this United States and I've not gone to take a 9-to-5 job. Okay, I've not suddenly decided to go into banking and nobody has employed me to go into IT. I am essentially still Teju Babyface. I am who I am who I've always been, and that's why I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to you this morning as Teju Babyface, the aforementioned king of talk, and so on and so forth. I am who I am, and I've been in this United States for 3 years now. I've not taken a job. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, we live in our house, and all those things. It's an expensive venture, and yet here I am, doing very well and doing what I do. The point remains, as I said, we have to answer the question, what do you do, and are you able to do it essentially anyway? Now let's go further with that. The truth, and you need to write this now if you're writing. God, if you believe in God, or life, you can choose life if you like. God doesn't give local talents. God gives global talents, but local assignments. I'll say that again. God doesn't give local talents. He gives global talents, but perhaps local assignments. It means that whatever it is that you're able to do, wherever it is you're able to do it. In Nigeria, for example, at this time, you should be able to do it anywhere in the world. Whatever it is you do right now, you should have in the very make and model of what you do, a build to be able to do it anywhere in the world. And I bring that now to Naira. So let's talk financial literacy. You cannot keep on earning in Naira right now. The Nigerian Naira cannot be your A to Z and you will walk in financial freedom. It is impossible. If you seem to be walking in financial freedom at the moment, as a person who is earning Naira from A to Z, it's only a matter of time over the course of your life before you run into problems. If the beginning and the end of all you're making in your business is Naira from A to Z, that is good for a period. But at some period, you have to start considering how you're going to start earning whatever else currency, the dollar or the euro or the pound. The beginning and the end of all your financial journey and all your financial freedom and all your financial everything cannot be the Naira. Why? Because unfortunately, outside of Nigeria, the Naira really isn't viable. If you've ever traveled out of the country and you have Naira in your pocket, the moment you get to Europe or America, you essentially have a problem, because to change that Naira will almost become a virtual impossibility, okay? If you leave Nigeria at any point in time and you have euros in your pocket, or you have dollars in your pocket, or you have pounds in your pocket, to change it even right at the airport where you land will not be a problem. Just walk to any of the changes, any of the bureau, the changes in the airport, just go to anywhere they change money. In fact, walk into a bank, you get it changed. But if you land, if you happen to leave Murtala Mohammed International Airport or Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, and you still have Naira in your pockets, you're going to keep that Naira in your pocket essentially until you return to Nigeria. I have 50,000 Naira. Well, that was the value when I left Nigeria a couple of years ago. I have 50,000 Naira in my wallet from 3.5 years ago. That is still in my wallet. There are times when I've sought to change that money into dollars, but it's virtually impossible here. So the beginning and the end of all your financial wellness, let's put it that way, your financial wellness cannot be Naira. It works for what it works for inside Nigeria, but every day that currency is losing value. Therefore, you must start to think of how you can begin to access foreign currency, also known as dollar. When we talk of foreign currency, we're essentially talking about the dollar, the currency of the world. So you're sitting there and you're thinking, but I am in Nigeria at the moment. How am I going to earn that almighty dollar? Since you're saying that this Naira that I am earning or that I seek to earn will become powerless over time, what am I going to do? Let me just stay on that powerless for a minute. Somebody told me in 2014, and that was in 2014 when the Naira had done what it did and it went to 400 for a bit, and then central bank did whatever they did and brought it back again to below 200 and all of that in 2014. And this person who was a member or who was a player in the financial market said to me, he said, all this that the central bank is doing, at the end of the day, if the naira exchanges to the dollar, when all is said and done, if at the end of the day, the naira exchanges to the dollar for 1,000 naira to $1, we can count ourselves as fortunate and lucky. That's what he said. He said, when all of this is done, he said it in Yoruba. He said, when all of this is done, if we find that the situation is that the naira is exchanging to the dollar at 1,000 naira to $1, then we can count ourselves as lucky, because it should be infinitely worse than that. Okay? I just say all this again to underscore what I am saying. Okay. Many of you, I mean, take for example, those of you who have children, if there are any people who have children now, there are quite a few of us whose children do not school in Nigeria. You should ask those who send their children to school abroad what they're paying right now, the naira to the dollar or to the pound or to the euro. You should ask those who are taking medical treatment or who are seeking medical treatment abroad what they pay right now. So, I mean, I don't need to really convince you about that. You know about all this already. So to the questions, if you are in Nigeria right now or anywhere else, and your question is, this is what I do, where I do it, how can I have access to this dollar that you're talking about? There are several ways. First of all, let me speak of starting from where you are. I will tell you something that will blow your mind right now. There are people in Nigeria as I speak to you, who live in Nigeria as I speak to you, who on a monthly basis make anything from $50,000 and upwards paid into their Nigerian accounts while they are still in Nigeria. As I speak to you, I personally know them. They are in Nigeria, they work in Nigeria, they work from Nigeria, but they are selling to the world. I will give you a practical example. It is my industry, the industry of entertainment. You see, all those things that you watch on social media, all your Facebook skits and your YouTube skits and your Instagram skits, all those guys and girls and babes that you see making you laugh and you're having fun and you think that it is all about likes or followings. Those boys and girls are banking money. They are banking money. They are tuned into the monetizations of Facebook, of Instagram, of TikTok, of YouTube, and those boys and girls are banking money. When you see, I don't want to mention names, but when you see your most popular Instagram comedians or skit makers, when they seem to be living large in Nigeria, I can assure you that it is not the strength of the naira alone that is giving them that financial power. They are making money. Okay, and here comes what I told you. Sorry, I tried to speak in Yoruba to them alone. Ebota. So we need to negotiate for just a minute. Ebota. Now I can't promise you that is going to last. But yeah, I don't know how long this reprieve that I have brought us is going to last. But so somebody will think, why don't you lock the door? That is going to be worse. If I lock the door, we are going to, whichever way I'm going to get up from here. So
don't worry,
so
it's okay.
Just pray. Pray that this reprieve lasts.
To them. I like that. That's good.
Oh yes, no, they must understand. My father will turn around in his grave, will turn over in his grave if my children don't. Now I cannot guarantee that they will speak it. I used to think they would speak it, but just to even buttress the point I'm making, let's even leave currency, let's even talk culture. See, Nigeria is in such a, I don't want to use the word unfortunate, but we're in such a difficult place. Everything, I mean, just everything is under siege. Even our culture is under siege. Of my generation and the people who are even slightly before me and behind my generation, none of our children speak our languages, even those who are in Nigeria, none. And I used to blame people before for not trying enough, but now that I have my own kids, I can see there is nothing, there is so much that is coming at them in English from America and other parts of the world, from YouTube and all those other things that they're exposed to, and there is not enough coming from our side. There is just not enough. So you can speak Yoruba to your children all you want, but as long as things remain the way they are, it's going to be difficult. So as far as these ones are concerned, I cannot guarantee now that they will speak the language, but they will understand. That much I know. They will understand. They may not speak it, but they know it, because I only speak Yoruba to them. Okay, so back to what I was saying. There are boys and girls. Yes, financial freedom. There are boys and girls in Nigeria right now who are earning dollars and other foreign currency remaining in Nigeria as I speak to you. They have accessed the global economy through the power of the internet. Now, I can only speak to entertainment because that is my industry. But I hear that it is happening all over the place. I mean, at the very least, I even know a bit about IT. They say that Yaba is the new IT hub of Africa. And there are boys and girls in Nigeria who are earning so much. For example, I know of these boys who I think their office is now in GRA Ikeja, the Paystack boys, Shola and the other guy, who while being in Nigeria, designed this thing. By the way, while we're talking about that, please note, the fact, it's very interesting, the fact that we're saying that you have to access the global earning power and you have to access the dollar does not in any way mean that you have to design things that are for people who are not Nigerians, or that does not mean that you should do things for consumption only for people outside Nigeria. Remember when I said God gives global talents, but local assignments. The fact that we're saying that you need to go global, so to speak, does not mean that Nigerians cannot be your market. Please be clear about that. What we're not saying is for you to design things for Oyibo people, or for Americans, or for Europeans, or for Asians, and forget Africans. That's not what we're saying, even though that could be part of it. We're saying that the way you do business must be global. Case in point, I mentioned the Facebook boys and the Instagram skit makers and all the rest of them. The people who consume their skits are Nigerians. It is not my African-American neighbor here who is watching Mr. Macaroni, okay? It is not my white neighbor from across the street who is watching MC Shem. No, it is Nigerians who are consuming those things. The only thing is that the term Nigerian is global. There are Nigerians in the United States. There are Nigerians in Europe. There are Nigerians in Asia. Nigerians are all over the place. There are Nigerians in Nigeria. So when we say you must design your services to go global, we're not saying design your things so that white people or Americans are the ones who can partake of it. What we're essentially saying is that design it in such a way that your business can access that foreign currency, even if Nigerians are your users. Case in point, the Paystack payment solution that I mentioned. It is essentially a solution that works in Nigeria for Nigerians, and yet they got funding from the international market. They got international investments. Why? Because the business was viable and it had built itself in such a way that it could access foreign currency. Okay, so that is the first thing. You have to design your business in such a way that it can go global. So I'll use myself as a perfect example. Will you see the Teju Babyface show soon? I don't know. I really couldn't answer that question for you. I mean, I could answer that question for you, but I won't answer that question for you. But as far as you are concerned, are you going to see my show on TV screen very soon? Well, you don't know why. Because the model we had before, when we started, and remember, we started ahead of the curve. We started before social media. We started the Teju Babyface show essentially in the year 2009. At the time we started the show, there was no Instagram. There was no, in fact, Twitter had just started. Twitter was just trying to find its feet. Facebook was just a place where people, where people connected with people with whom they went to high school and the university and people they hadn't seen for many years. There was no Africa Magic. There was no, a whole lot of the things. In fact, back in those days, if you had a phone, the best phone in Nigeria that you could have in those days and you were a big boy was a phone known as the 3310, a Nokia 3310. Anybody here ever had a 3310? Those were the days when the thought of going on the internet, on your phone. Was just, everything we did was on the computer. So that was when we debuted our show. And our show was debuted mainly for television, for terrestrial television in Nigeria, where we made money by doing adverts and advertorials and so on and so forth. However, the times have now changed. We now realize that that is no longer a viable model as the primary model for making money. It can be one of our models, but that model essentially relies on servicing Nigerians using a total Nigerian system. It essentially implies that I go to NTA and I put it on NTA, and then I go to Coca-Cola and I try to get money in Naira from Coca-Cola to show it to you, and so on and so forth. That is a system that no longer works. We realize that if we must do the Teju Babyface show again, this time around, whereas in the past, we treated television, terrestrial television, NTA, AIT, channels television, TVC, whereas in the past, we treated those platforms as the primary platforms, and then we'll just post it on Facebook or YouTube if we felt like. We realize now that those platforms, those online platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those online platforms now must be the primary platforms. They must be the #1 platforms. And then whatever else we're going to do on terrestrial television, AIT, TVC, channels, and so on, that must be the secondary platform and the backup platform. All of this, again, goes to tell you that regardless of where you're doing your business, you have to do it in such a way that you have access or the chance or the potential to earn foreign currency or to earn dollars. All right, so that's the first scenario, a scenario where you remain in Nigeria, but where you have access to foreign currency, or where you have access to foreign payment, or where you have access to foreign remuneration, while yet remaining in Nigeria. However, your presence in Nigeria also should not be your A to Z. You can stay in Nigeria and earn money, but that also shouldn't be your A to Z. Not because, again, war is going to happen tomorrow, but because at some point you're going to need access to foreign markets physically. At some point, you're going to need physical access to foreign places and foreign markets to grow your wealth. There is nobody all over the world that remained in one place and made. Think about it this way. Do you know there is Google in Nigeria? There is Google Nigeria. Netflix has opened up offices in Africa and Nigeria. There is now Amazon Nigeria. Okay? Why are all these companies in Nigeria? After all, Nigeria is bad, as we say. Nigeria is tough. Nigeria is bad. Nigeria is difficult. I need to get out. None of those things are essentially untrue. You know, it is difficult. You probably need to get out, in quotes. But as you're getting out, all these other multinational companies are still in Nigeria. The point remains that if you're really going to maximize your global talent, which God has given you, you need access to foreign places. Okay? And that brings us to the #2 point. God never designed the world to be limited by borders or visas. You see all this visa thing, needing an American visa to travel, needing a United Kingdom visa to travel, needing a Schengen visa to travel. All those places, all those things were put in place to manage the nuisance of man. It was man that developed those systems to manage the nuisance of other men. In the world, you're supposed to be able to travel to anywhere you want to do business. It is really small thinking if you need to go anywhere in the world at any point in time and you are limited by your access to a travel visa. When you're still playing on that level, you're playing in the lower leagues. You shouldn't be limited. Your access to the world should not be limited by a visa. Your access to the world should not be limited by a visa. You should be able to go anywhere you want to go. And while you can stay in Nigeria and still make dollars, the highest level or the higher level is to be able to access any part of the world with your business. As I've mentioned, the greatest companies in the world who are headquartered in America, who are founded in America, still have businesses in places like Nigeria. That should also be in the fore of your mind. The biggest actors in the world, those whom we like, as much as they're still in Hollywood and in America, they have presence in Nigeria. If not physically, they can come to Nigeria anytime. All of us saw Will Smith smack Chris Rock across the face during the Oscars. If Chris Rock needs to come to Nigeria tomorrow, it will not be a problem. If Will Smith needs to come to Nigeria tomorrow, it will not be a problem. A couple of years ago, we were all seeing on social media how Bill Gates, unannounced, just walked into the wedding of Aliko Dangote's daughter. A couple of years ago, unannounced, we saw how Mark Zuckerberg was jogging on the bridge in, was it Banana Island, or Banana Island in Ikoyi or somewhere?
Ikoyi Bridge.
Aha, where he was jogging. He's an American, but you need access to the world. So let me use myself as a good example. Let's talk to ourselves now as family members. Okay, let's leave all the pretenses out of the way, and let's leave all the political correctness out of the way. Let's talk to ourselves now as family members. You need to have a plan B as far as Nigeria is concerned right now. You need to have a plan B. It's not again because Nigeria is going to descend or devolve into an unlivable situation. It just makes sense to have a plan B. In times past, all our parents, the generation of my parents and Tibimbo's parents, all our parents had access to two places. In times past, they had access to two places. It's just that we really didn't pay attention. Our parents had access to the America of that day, which was Lagos, and they had access to where they were coming from, which was the village.
True.
None of our parents was born in Lagos. Let's be clear. Okay, maybe a few of them who are Lagosians. But my father came from Ajawa in Oyo State. And Tibimbo's parents came from Igede in Ekiti. And so on and so forth. But having grown there, after a while, they left those places to come to Lagos for a better life. And then they would go back to those places now and again. They left some people in those places and they would go back to those places. I make bold to tell you right now that Lagos, unfortunately, has now become the village. Nigeria has now become the village. Sad, but that is what it is. And the foreign places have now become our Lagos. Think about it very well. How many people do you know who have moved either to the United Kingdom or Canada or the United States in the past 10 years? That is what is happening. It is such now that if you're really going to succeed in today's world, you need to start looking outside of Nigeria. Now, that doesn't make the people who remain in Nigeria villagers, okay? It's not exactly an apples and apples comparison, but it lends some similarities that way. If you are hemmed in by Nigeria and all your business and all the beginning and the end of your business is in Nigeria right now, and you have no plans to access the global spaces, either online or physically, then you have a problem. So how am I in America at the moment? Okay? Because for many of us, going out of the country and living outside the country and all those things, it's an impossibility. But before I tell us about that, let's talk about my situation. I've mentioned to you that I've been here for a couple of years and I have not taken a job, okay? We have essentially been living on and thriving on and succeeding on everything that Teju Babyface has accomplished and who he is from over the years. I've been doing this for about 25 years now. I remember that one of the first events that I did when I started becoming a big comedian in town was Tibimbo's company's party back in, it might have been 2003 or so, the Shell end of year party, 2003. I mean, you do the math. Do the math. That's 2003. We're now in the year 2022. That is basically 19 years ago. In fact, not basically, that is mathematically 19 years ago, if my math is correct. That's how long I have been doing this, okay? For many years. So the brand that I have built and the earnings that I have made over the years have put me in such a place that I can afford to make this kind of moves and leave Nigeria and come to the United States. So if you're going to take the first point from what I'm telling you, if you're young enough right now, I started entertainment when I was 19. If you're young enough right now and you're making money, please do not be silly. The Yoruba people say that, which means that young people want to waste the money they make initially. They waste it on silly things. They buy clothes and they buy phones and they buy cars and they blow it. They go to the club and they pop champagne. They basically live it up. So young people essentially waste the first tranche of money that they make in their professional careers. And it is not even a Nigerian thing. Will Smith, this Will Smith you're all shouting, is a product of second opportunity grace, second chance grace. When Will Smith was young, or when he was younger, he and a fellow called Jazzy Jeff were rappers. They actually gave the world the first rap album that won a Grammy. Will Smith was a millionaire as a young man. He was in his 19s or 20s or 21. He was a millionaire. And Will Smith wasted all that money. He wasted all of that money. He got into government with he got into trouble with the government of the United States and the IRS, which collects taxes for the United States. His saving grace was that life gave him another opportunity in the series known as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's where he began to now bank money and make good financial decisions. So I'm telling you, as a young person, if you have the opportunity to make money as a young person, don't waste the money. That is not to say I didn't waste money. I wasted a whole lot of money. But I've been fortunate enough to have such a long career that over the career, I could course correct and correct myself. That is essentially how we've been able to live well in this United States. Think about it. I came to the United States, a country where I really didn't have earnings, where all my holdings was in Naira. At a time when the Naira was exchanging to the dollar at almost 500 when we came. Almost 500. Let me put it to you in practical terms. The amount that I paid in rent in the first 6 months in this United States, the amount that I paid in rent was more than the amount I was paying in rent for the entire year when I was living in Victoria Island. That was when we first came. By 2020, when the Naira had deteriorated worse and the value had fallen, the amount I paid in 3 months was the amount I paid in a total year in VI. By the way, please note, I was living in Victoria Island at that time. I wasn't living in the Victoria Island of Dallas. Okay? I was living in one of the best places in Nigeria. The amount I paid for living in one of the best places in Nigeria for a year was the amount I paid here in living in an all right place. I wasn't living in the Victoria Island of Dallas. I was living more of like in the Ilupeju or Yaba, you know, the nice Yaba or the nice Okpebi Keja area of here. So that's the lesson. First of all, you need to bank your money. Don't waste money. Don't waste money. Bank money. Okay? Having said all of that, you need access to these global spaces. My auntie Bimbo asked me a question yesterday. She said that she really doesn't know, that she hasn't asked me that how come I am in America. And I'm sure you're thinking that, do you just wake up one day and pack your bags with your family and decide you're moving to the United States of America? How does that happen? How does one even get the visa? There is a class of visas that most Nigerians don't know about that is called the exceptional ability visas. It is called the exceptional ability visas. And if you forget everything that I have said up until now, if none of all I have said up until now, if none of it has stuck with you, if none of everything that I have said up until now has made sense to you, then please remember this one. There is a class of visas called the exceptional ability visas to come to this United States of America. The exceptional ability visas. And from my little research, nearly all the first world countries in the world have some visa of that sort. That is for the class of people who have distinguished themselves in their careers over the years in their countries. Okay? Look, I also told my auntie yesterday, if everything I did in the past 23 years of my career from when I started entertainment, if everything I did was just to build enough credibility and authority to get to the point where I could petition the government of the United States for an exceptional ability visa, then it was worth it. Okay? Now, I'm not saying it is worth it because the United States is the best place in the world or such a wonderful place. It is just worth it in terms of justification and affirmation that I did so well in my career that I came to the place where I wrote to the government of the United States and I said to them that I am the best at what I do in Nigeria. I am in the top 1% of what I do in Nigeria. Google it, do your investigations, and check it out. My name is Oyelakin, aka Teju Babyface. I'm one of Nigeria's foremost and successful comedians.
Can you add King of Talk? I said, can you add King of Talk? Anyway, we have questions for you, so you got to manage your time. This is 21 minutes, but I don't know. I have more questions.
Auntie Bimbo, don't worry, we can bring him back. Let him continue.
Pastor Niyi, okay, mentors are talking.
I'm going to round it up now. Okay. I got to the point where I could essentially say to the government of the United States that I gave to Nigeria the first iteration of a late night talk show. Before me, there was nothing like a late night talk show. I brought it to Nigeria. I am exceptional, I am outstanding, and I'm at the top of my field. And I want to come to the United States. And they said, okay, no problem. We have looked at it. You are who you said you are. Come. The point I'm making, wherever you are right now, you might not be at that point to write to the government yet. But if you want to come and live in the United States or Canada or UK or wherever, you have the chance to start right now to build your own profile. I like Yoruba proverbs a lot because they make sense. African proverbs, generally. The Yoruba people say that Ile Latin Keshorode, which in English means charity begins at home. They also say that Ile la wo kato somo loruko. Again, it basically means that charity begins at home. You cannot claim to be exceptional to anybody in the world if you're not already exceptional where you are, no matter how difficult it is, where you are. So as stressful as it is being in Nigeria right now, as difficult as it is being in Nigeria right now, as a young person who is just starting out or who has potential, the first people to whom you owe a duty are Nigerians. Even if you're going to go into the world, nobody gives you the benefit of potential. Nobody's going to look at you and say, you have a lot of potential. Based on what we have seen about your potential, we think we should help you. No. People only give benefit to achievement. So if you're going to have access to the global spaces, you need to first of all justify yourself where you are right now in Nigeria. And it brings me full circle. And remember, the first thing I told you was that there are people who are with you right now in Nigeria who are earning dollars. We're doing an exceptional ability petition for another young man right now. It's one of the things that I do right now. Since I walk that path, okay, so since I walk that path already. Again, the Yoruba people say that because I walk this path the last couple of years, we're now a lot of people are now reaching out to us, and now we're now helping them put their petitions together. We're working right now with a young man who is in Nigeria right now. And part of our claim to the government of the United States is that while this boy is in Nigeria, check out the amount of dollars that he's making. He's sitting in Nigeria right now, making tens of thousands of dollars, not naira, tens of thousands of dollars paid into his Facebook account on a monthly basis from Facebook, Ireland. That is part of our claim to the United States government. And they're going to give him that visa. In a couple of days, they're going to give him. He'll be in the United States in a couple of months. And then he'll be shuttling between Nigeria and the United States. So to conclude, financial freedom is not only about this naira that you're thinking. It starts with what you do, where you do it, how you do it. And the situation of the world right now means the world trades in dollars. You need access to that money. There was a time when I used to think that it doesn't matter. I used to say that it doesn't matter. After all, in fact, it was Adekunle Gold that said it later on. $10 or lori meji, Dangote or lori meji. So I used to say, what's the big deal? After all, they're in Nigeria and they are making money. Go and ask them whether the money they are making, whether it's only in naira, and the one they are making in naira, go and ask them whether they are banking it in naira. If you're going to have this financial freedom we're talking about in the world right now, you need to perfect your access to the dollar. You need to start by doing it from Nigeria. And when you've done that, you need to also add to that your physical access in global spaces. I haven't said you need to move. That's your own decision. I had 2 young twins that we decided we wanted to raise abroad for a while. So we did that. I'm just saying that your business and your physical presence must not be hindered by an inability to access global spaces.
Wow. Teju, thank you so much. I'm sure the people around the call are as grateful as I am. I have a few questions before I try to just put a little bit of what I have gained from this conversation. The Teju Babyface Mentoring Academy, I want you to talk about mentoring. I know you started very early. You started at 19, you said. You were still in Unilag when you had your first exposure. You had that movie, The Gold, what's the name of that?
Diamond Ring.
Diamond Ring. And I'm so happy that you've been very open with us here. You haven't, even though you're a star, you know, I've been advertising, my team and I have been advertising the program that the King of Talk is coming to the Finance Coach workshop. And thank you for lending your name. We said that already. Now you've been very open with us. And you did mention that when you had your first earnings, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Maybe the question I'm trying to put to you is, talk to us, the young ones around the call, the older ones around the call. We have some millionaires or naira and dollar around this call. I won't call their name, you know, to join you, Teju, because you are a millionaire in dollars. Say amen.
Amen. Amen.
Anyway,
amen.
So yeah, please tell us. Look back at a 19-year-old Teju, and you'll see. Anyway, I'll see how you answer the question, because I don't want you to be clouded by the privileges that you had, the kind of home you came from. But now at 19, looking back, your first earnings, what would you have done better? What would you have done better? You said something, or you alluded to that already. That the younger ones, what they do with their first earnings and all of that. But what would you have done better if you knew at 19 the things you know now about financial freedom? You have spoken to us so powerfully, and I love everything you've said. It's a big article on its own for the Finance Coach page. So please tell me, what would you have done better, knowing what you know now as a 19-year-old? You started off very early. Tomorrow, Dr. Kalu will talk to us about how he made his first million in college. But tell us, what would you have done better?
Well, I wouldn't have bought those expensive baseball tops that I bought from the boutique on Adenro Gusoya. First of all, they're these expensive. So I was in University of Lagos, and I had just one goal when I was in University of Lagos. I had no academic goals. Okay, all I wanted to do was to just have a good time. I just wanted to date as many girls as possible. This was Unilag we're talking about. Unilag, the university of the parties and all of that. So when I had the fortune of being cast in this movie, and I was paid big money, this was the year 1997, I was paid 40,000 naira. I don't know how much that exchanges for right now in exchange, but let me put in perspective for you what it meant to me and to my friends. My monthly allowance from my father for the entire month was 1,500. And at 1,500, I was fairly in the middle and upper class at 1,500 in 1997. 1,500. And then, of course, he paid for my room, he paid for the food, he paid for the clothes. So that was 1,500. A couple of years later, when I was in year 4, I told him I didn't want the money he shouldn't pay for the food and all that he should give me all the money. So 3 years later, when I was in year 4, my entire monthly allowance when I was in year 4. So he put it in perspective. My entire monthly allowance in year 4 was, I think, 4,000. So for me in year 2, to have earned 40,000 naira in one go for a movie, come on, I went to town.
You went to town.
I bought clothes. I basically just wasted the money. Over the years, this question you've asked me, I've asked myself many times that if I had access to that money, what would I have done? I would have taken out. I didn't get paid all that money at once. I got paid 20,000 first, okay? Out of the first 20,000, if I had to go back, I would have taken 15,000 of that 20,000. I would have given it to my father, who was a very, very savvy businessman, who was wealthy, as Auntie Bimbo alluded to, and I'd have told him to invest it in the stock market for me. My father was a stock market doer, and I've just given him 15K. I said, I just put it in the stock market for me. The remaining 5K, then I would have blown that. Look, don't let anybody tell you should go enjoy. When you make money, set aside some blowing money. Okay? Let it be a percentage. Our people tell us we should give 10% to God, at least 10%. So you need to take 10% of whatever you make, 20 if you like, blow it. Top, maybe a third. Don't spend more than a third. But the bulk of the money, invest it. But one thing that I did that I always appreciate was I gave my roommate, when I got the 20%, I gave my roommate, who was living with me at University of Lagos, I gave him 10%. Now, I don't think I calculated it as 10%. It was just that the money was in 20 naira. We don't spend 20 naira anymore. It was in bundles of, back in those days, you used to be bundles of 20 naira that made 2,000. So if they were going to give you 20K, then they'll give you 10 bundles. So that's how they gave me 10 bundles in a bag. I remember I was scared as I carried 10 bundles, taking 10 bundles, 20K to school. I gave my roommate 2,000 naira. So I'm glad that I did that. Of course, he blew it as well, okay? Spent it on girls and all of that, but yeah.
Thank you very much, Teju. Thank you very, very much, because that brings me to the question I was trying to ask earlier on. You've spoken in different places about, well, I've seen on your page and in some conversations you've had, how much respect you have for people who have mentored you along the way. I think perhaps also in your book, it's probably in your book, trying to remember his name now. Is it, what's his first name? I can't remember. There's this gentleman. Lake, yeah. So you've talked so much about mentoring, and you see, before you came onto this program this evening, I talked about the need of having a finance coach and a financial mentor.
What is drink water? Yeah. Can you drink water?
It's bonbon.
Can you drink water?
Okay,
I'm listening.
Yeah, so I was saying that now, looking back, it's good to give. Okay, I want to come back to that quickly. Financial freedom is on different levels. It gets to a place where, apart from your passive income meeting all your needs and your wants, you're even be able to give back. But I know you didn't.
Please continue, ma'am.
Sorry, people around the call. Sorry about that.
No, I'm listening.
Okay, so I know you didn't give because you had gotten to where you had arrived and you were giving back. Now we're trying to teach people to achieve and attain financial freedom early in life so they can get to where they can give back. I just want to put that on the table. Now, quickly, if you had a mentor, if you had a finance coach at 19, right? Looking back, you said you would have given to daddy to invest for you. It could have been daddy, it could have been a financial, an investment expert or a financial planner or someone what you're saying is, looking back, you'd have taken a percentage of that to invest forward. Okay. Now, I don't know. I know that so many people have, signed up. We had people across different age grades signing up for this program. But for the young ones, even if it's just one young person around the call, I have mentors. Okay. I'm over 50. I have mentors. I don't take business and financial investment and investment decisions without talking to certain people. Of course, you know that my husband is #1 mentor. I have other people that I talk to. So please talk to the young ones around the call this evening about the place of mentoring. You have said that you benefited from people mentoring you in the past. The place of mentoring in achieving financial freedom and financial fitness. Your example is there, but I just want you to speak about that before I go to other people's questions.
Okay, I tend to generally speak on things as a whole, because out of the whole, then things trickle down. There will be we call them witnesses of change. There is no time in life when you're trying to go from one level to another level of success where you get to go there by yourself. Case in point, my being in the United States. I've told you now that I wrote to the government and all that, but that's just speaking about it generally. I didn't know about that path. It was one of the people to whom I look up. It was one of my mentors who actually introduced me to this path. It wasn't like I was sitting down and I discovered this path myself. It was one who actually introduced me to this path. And if you go back to the beginning of my career as well, especially comedy, I just didn't start comedy. I needed somebody to help me. And that was where Basoj Taria Jr. and Ali Baba came in. Without those two people, Ali Baba literally took us by the hand, Basket Mouth and I, whatever we have become today. It was because Ali Baba gave us the chance. Ali Baba would get those opportunities. And then I spoke about how I emceed and TBN Boss Shell Party in 2003. It was only because a couple of years before, Ali Baba had taken me to that party and he had given us a few minutes on the microphone. That's how Shell came to know about me in the first place. So whether it's your finances or your career, there's a limit to what you know. There's the aggregated wisdom of all that your mentors know. Because you see, your mentor too likely had a mentor. So you see, over time, it is the wisdom of the ages that is passed down to you. It's the wisdom of, when you have a mentor, you're not only mining from your mentor's wisdom, you're mining from his mentor's wisdom as well, and his mentor's wisdom. So when it comes to finances, you need people to let you know what is happening. As much as I seem to know one or two things, there are areas where I'm lost in finance, and therefore I need financial guidance. For example, there are monies that I wasted when I came to this United States because I did not know better. We call it in Yoruba, Owu Omogo. We say it is a due you have to pay in life, but you don't have to pay that due beyond a certain age. At a certain point, you're supposed to be wise. So if you have access to financial mentors who are telling you to come and let's teach you the way to go about it, you should listen to them. The only thing you need to do is to ask for results. This person who is attempting to teach me, what are the results that they have? What can I see in their own journey that makes me want to submit my time, my finances, and my resources to their authority? Okay, I don't have time to really go into that, but yes, it's very key.
Thank you very much, Teju. I need to quickly look at the chat box. There are so many questions, and I'll just okay. You've talked so much about globalization. You talked about global talents versus local assignments, and honestly, I like the approach that you have taken to the conversation today. It's going to force people to begin to think beyond where they are currently. There are a few people that I mentor around the call that I'm already thinking I'm going to have a conversation with them to make sure that the products and the services that they render locally, that they take it one step higher. And even thinking on their behalf already, listening to you, I see opportunities for them. So I thank you for forcing us all to think, to think beyond our comfort zones and know that we can offer services and sell products globally, even while we're still here. Because let's be honest, not all of us, like you've already said, that will have the opportunity to maybe change geographical location. Now, somebody says, George Stevens says, how can one position himself for this global market? How can, what are they want to, maybe 2, 3 things, because I know so many questions, but we don't have time. So you are a creative, you're talented. I don't know this person's background, but what are the key things to help every one of us around the call position ourselves for a global market?
Okay, so the irony about positioning yourself globally is that it happens organically. So that just simply means that even though I've said position yourself globally, it's not something you can do, or it's not something you should go and do. It's going to come for you. The benefit of my saying it is so to let you know that when it comes for you, you will know to walk through the door that opens. This is how I mean. I like to use 2 examples, and they are musical. Think of Bob Marley, okay? The late Bob Marley. The proof of the fact that Bob Marley is global is that he's not Nigerian. He's been dead many, many years. And you know Bob Marley. As a matter of fact, I think Bob Marley died in 1981. And even if you were born yesterday, you know Bob Marley, okay? But how did Bob Marley become global? Bob Marley was not singing. He had no intentions of singing for the global audience. Bob Marley was singing in Jamaica to and for essentially Jamaicans. So put that example in one, hold that example in one hand. Let's talk about our own King Sunny Ade or Fela Anikulapo Kuti. In fact, let's use Fela Anikulapo Kuti because that makes my point. Fela studied in the Trinity College of Music in London. And after coming back home, after spending some time in the United States, Fela decided to start singing in Yoruba first and then Pidgin English, essentially cutting out the rest of the world. Pidgin English. And yet, right now, Fela is a global phenomenon. Fela has been put on Broadway and so on and so forth. How? Bob Marley, Fela, also King Sunny Ade, who has been nominated for 2 Grammy Awards. The point remains that if you serve your primary market diligently, if you become the king of your market, at some point, the world is going to come for you. The benefit or the point of my telling you to go global is, number 1, start looking of ways by which you can place that which you do for your local market in the eyes of the world. Remember when I spoke about how if we're going to go back to do the Teju Babyface show, even though we're going to be doing it for you essentially, but our primary point of development deployment, our primary platform for broadcast will not be television that only you can see. Even though you're the ones we're doing it for, we're going to put it in a place that the whole world can see it. So if there is one answer to that, your question, it is serve your market, but place your services, the deployment of your services on a platform or on platforms where the whole world can see it. So even if you sing Fuji music for your people in Mushin, and you are singing, make sure you put it on a platform where the whole world can see it. Once you serve your market diligently, the world is going to come for you. Don't worry how. It's going to happen.
I hear you, Teju. Thank you so very much. I also hear you saying, you use the word diligence. So we need to be very diligent, whatever we're doing. I can't remember that minister in those days that said, if you sweep well. It's been a while now, yeah. Quickly, we need to take more questions. How do we join Mr. Teju's mentoring program? You know, I introduced you and I introduced the academy. I spoke about the academy when I was introducing you. John Alabi says, how do we join Mr. Teju's mentoring program?
Sadly, you have to give me some time as it is. I'm never shy in letting people know. So people ask me, so what have you been doing this 2 years, this past couple of years, you've been quiet. And I tell them essentially what you saw right now. I've just been busy playing father and husband. That's what I've been doing. These twins take all my time, or most of my time, beyond my trying to do other things as well. I know that it is very important and crucial and critical that we invest this time and these years in their development until they start school. So they're starting school in a couple of months. Because you see, these 3 years, these 4 years that seem like so much to you right now when you're raising your kids, they drop in the bucket. There's nothing. It's nothing compared to the years coming. And you will wish that you had spent this time investing in those kids. So our academy, as far as that is concerned, I don't have the time right now. But in about 12 months, okay, you can hold me to that. In about 12 months, or maybe less, you will see us coming to you. We may not call it an academy again because that sounds very formal. But in a couple of months, you will see me beginning to put out things there on a more consistent basis that helps you at least to think and work better. So essentially, just follow me on any of these platforms. If you follow me on Instagram, I haven't posted in a while as well. Yeah. Like just follow me. You will know what we're up to when we start. Okay.
Thank you very much, Teju. Thank you very much. So please follow him online so that when he has his availability for mentoring again, you would see his programs on his pages. Just reading through. Yeah, thank you so very much, Teju. I understand the pressure on everybody's time. I have some people, some of the panelists, and I'm just going to ask if anybody has a comment or a question for Teju before we let him go. Dr. Okoha, are you there? Do you have any question or comment? Professor Nee, do you have any question or comment for Teju? You're on mute if you have any.
None apart from to thank him for sharing his life experience. I mean, it's not every time you get to hear people being down to earth and sharing what their journey looks like and also the mistake that they've made. And I hope that the young ones on the call will also learn from that. At least, if not anything, learn not to waste the first set of money that you make. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Nee. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Dr. Kalu. I can see he says thank you so much, Teju. All right, Teju, thank you so much. I'm going to summarize some of the takeaways that we have gained from your spending your time with us this evening, and it's a very good way to kick off the workshop. When we spoke yesterday, you talked about paying forward, and you've also spoken so well about it today. Invest in yourself now, pay forward, because you say to us, it's the seed that you had sown before now that's you leverage on for the past 3 years. So any opportunity, you want to say something?
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I went to buy bananas for the twins yesterday in Walmart. When I walked in, a couple came to me, a Nigerian couple. Hey, you touch baby. Anyway, point. When I went to pay for the bananas and I bought some eggs and orange juice, they said, don't pay, we're going to pay. And at that point, I started regretting not packing more things. If I knew they were going to pay, I would have packed more stuff.
No way, that's not how you were brought up, I know you. But what you're saying is that paying forward, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just do look, you never know, just keep doing, do the best right now, just do the best for your market.
Be as diligent as you can be. You also talked about technology, and I know a few people that I mentor who struggle with even the basic of IT stuff. You know what I mean? It's not everybody. Some just don't want to push themselves. But you have said to us, if you want to penetrate the global market, you must be at least have the basic and knowledge of the standard technology that you need to have. And beyond the standard and the basic, we need to even go beyond that, because there's a change. Things are changing, and you don't want to be behind when the world has moved on. So the world is changing, and we need to be as current as the world is. So you talked about the power of technology. You also talked about, indeed, you said we should offer what we can even to the local market before we position ourselves for the global market. Thank you so much, Teju. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for spending your time with us and for lending your name to this. Some people said the workshop, they didn't believe that the workshop is free. And I said, it's been paid for. It's been paid for. I said, you don't have to pay for it. And so I'm very grateful to you. I'm very grateful to all the other speakers that would come in the remaining 3 days. Dr. Kalu, Professor Chinedu, Mrs. Bala from Accra. Dr. Charity will be speaking to us on Saturday. She's also based in the United States. I mean, and the whole essence why we're all coming together to do this is to position, to get people to understand the things they need to do on time. On time, like Pastor Nii said, you're sharing with us the mistakes you made at 19. You're saying, if I knew. And so for the teenagers who would be on this program to the end of the program, we're saying, learn now. Nobody taught me in school, Teju, what financial education is. I was a chartered accountant and chartered banker for many, many years. Okay, so if I made money, or if I'm rich, or if I have any wealth in any form, it was all by chance until 2017 when I became very intentional, which is why, I fiercely want to teach as many people as I can that we need to start having these conversations early. I didn't know the difference between making money and creating wealth. I was making money in that oil and gas company for many years. And there's a difference. You don't just make money, you create wealth. Thank you very much. On behalf of, we still have, okay, others have dropped off. We have only about 140 now around the call. I thank you very, very much. And please apologize to your wife and the twins that we took their daddy and husband away for 1 hour. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Tomorrow we will start again at 4. And we'll have 2 sessions tomorrow. Dr. Okoha will talk to us, and Mrs. Ebella from Accra will talk to us about entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.